the transition into NFL, American football. What is the story with that? Where did this come from? Everyone kind of looks at it. I know there's been kind of a few. Christian Wade is one guy who's transitioned over recently enough. I think he's back. Is he coming back to rugby? And there's rumors. I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I think there's rumors of someone who's not too far from this building right now is thinking about it as well, with the idea. But it's a fascinating transition, and I think what you've done is amazing. When I saw it, like I saw that video of that punt to win the game. I think it was in the CFL, was it in the preseason?
Yeah.
I was like, that is unbelievable. Right, what was the genesis of that?
I love kicking, and then
right, that's it. That's the end
in
of the
America. Yeah,
I love kicking.
Finish it there. Simple. Sometimes simplicity is key. But people had always said to me in the US, "Hey, you should kick. Hey, you should kick." American footballs, that is. And I was always kind of like, yeah, whatever. Never actually considered it. And then just during COVID, I was coaching a rugby team. One of the lads in the team was a high school coach, had a bag of balls, and one day I just went kicking them for the crack. You know, just kicking. I thought I'd be decent, you know, because I wasn't a very good rugby player, but I was always a good kicker. So I thought I'd be decent, but I also didn't really know kind of the level, say. And as I was kicking, this is one of the moments where I thought, oh, maybe there's more to this, was when I was kicking that day on the pitch. And as people were walking around the pitch, there's always a running track around it. Like, people were stopping and they're coming over and saying, hey, like, who do you play for? Where'd you go to college? Are you a free agent? Are you signed with the team? Hey, the Patriots need a kicker. And then, like, you know, that happened maybe like 7-8 people, different groups of people come up and, you know, said that over the course of like an hour. And then I was kind of like, oh, geez, I must be decent if, like, you know, that just that the fact that was happening, say. And then, but then also was like, these are random people. They probably have no clue of what like good looks like. So I remember just going home, Googling, you know, what distance this. I didn't have a clue. I never watched American football. I didn't have a clue. So just Googling some things, and then I was like, the distances were actually pretty decent. And then ringing Googling an American football coach, finding a lad like 3 hours away in Connecticut. I remember just thinking, fuck it. Excuse me.
You're like, just thinking, don't worry.
Yeah, sounds okay, good. I remember just thinking that, and I was like, sure, look, I'll go down, I'll do this if it just I in some ways it was like, I'll just learn and I might be a better rugby kicker. So I just went down and met him, and I kicked maybe 3 or 4 balls at the start of the session. And then he was like, hey, you need to go to San Diego and meet John Carney. And I was just like, fuck, what's that mean? And, you know, a bit of Googling and a bit of explaining, and turned out John kicked in the NFL for 24 years. He's like the 3rd or 4th top. He's in like the top 5 for sure, top point scorers of all time.
Wow.
And John coaches kickers out in San Diego. And literally from that conversation, that first ever session, I was probably on a plane to San Diego. Well, I had to make a decision. I just, again, I used the logic. Sure, look, I'll learn at bare minimum. But at this stage, I was like, I have to at least give it a go. I was obviously like nervous and thinking, what the hell am I doing? And there's a big cost element and all of this. But I throw caution to the wind a lot. Hence why I went to Italy, but here where I am today. I'm definitely a big advocate of just like jump and give it a go. And at worst, you'll learn generally. So that's what I did. And then before I knew it, I was punting in San Diego, and the lad in front of me, my very first session, had won a Super Bowl with Seattle like a year or 2 earlier. And I remember being like, what the fuck am I doing here? Yeah, so that was kind of like how that first bit, say, you know, moved.
That's incredible. I'm just picturing now that scene of you whipping out the American pigskins for the first time, and comparing it to Happy Gilmore when he first hits a golf ball, and people are like, holy shit, yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
It was gassy. I guess the people around me were kind of more excited, but I was just like, I just thought they just didn't understand what, like, okay, I'm good compared for a 16-year-old in high school. Yeah, brilliant. But, you know, that's what I thought they knew. But it was one of those kind of like, oh, fuck, maybe there is something here. Yeah, I'm really, and I was like, was going to say, there's definitely loads of times along the journey as such where I was kind of thinking, what am I doing here? Because it was hard. But yeah, I kept just kind of thinking, I just knew if I didn't do it, I'd regret it big time. And I can get into that more as to why, but that was kind of a big motivating factor as I went through it. So
that's really interesting thing, the motivation. One thing that I think is brilliant about you as I'm listening to you talk is that I'll jump off the cliff and build a plane on the way down attitude, which, is necessary. The entrepreneurial spirit, that makes so much sense there, because it's just, right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to back myself. And what's the worst that can happen, And that motivation behind it, is it a case of, there's two sides, that I've true belief in myself that I'm good enough to do it, or if I don't do it, I'll never know? Which is the one for you that you think drives
definitely
it?
the second.
Yeah.
Definitely the second. Because I